Well, good morning, everybody. This is for Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time update. I know it's after midnight, so it's Saturday morning. I am Chris Wamsley, Senior Meteorologist with America's Weather Streaming Channel. I want to give you an update of their thoughts, my thoughts, and it's that time. It's time to hunker down. So let's get into it. Here is the 11 o'clock update. It still has 80 mile an hour winds, so it is still considered a hurricane, Hurricane Lee. Um, Basically, in the blue, we have tropical storm warnings up from Maine all the way down to the Rhode Island, Connecticut border, including the Cape and the islands. And then further north, we have tropical storm watches into portions of Canada. So, with that, we're still looking at it moving into from hurricane status to extratropical storm or even just tropical storm. But odds are it will continue to weaken as it moves further to the north. So here is current satellite data of Hurricane Lee, and this over here is the actual center. Notice we have all the echo tops over the left-hand side of the system and not so much on the right-hand side. Seems there's been some drier air that's moved in, and also the shearing has allowed it to actually get the convection more to the northwest of the system than the northeast. But the strongest winds are always felt on the east side of the eye. Okay, so here's the eye. So the strongest winds are going to be in this area, which we call like an L shaped. This area up here will have the strongest winds. Now, don't get me wrong, the Cape and Islands, which are right here, are already seeing in excess of 40 mile an hour gusts. So overnight, you're going to see 40 to 70 mile an hour gusts in that area. And then over in the main area, you're probably going to see 40 to 50 and then increasing to 60 as the day wears on. Outside of thunderstorm activity can be in excess of 80 miles an hour no matter where it's at. Okay, but sustained for a longer period of time, we're looking at around 60 mile an hour winds over Maine. So again, category 1, it is just into the category 1 strength. I wanted to briefly talk about the orange areas. Notice up in Maine, we do not have anybody except for Portland actually having anything near or above sea level, so flood stage type. So the orange squares are going to be the ones that are minor flooding. Okay, how minor? They aren't that much more than most, but I would say if anybody's getting close to moderate stage, it's forecasted for Nantucket, but right now the readings are rather low. So that could be either the thing's not working, the gauge isn't working, or the forecast is not going to be as high as they anticipate. So generally look for minor tidal flooding over favored areas that usually flood during a nor'easter, okay? And during the high tide cycle, which will be 1 to 3 a.m. this morning, and then 1 to 3 p.m. this afternoon, okay? These are the two times that we are most worried about as far as any coastal flooding in this area. So, again, wanted to talk about the rainfall we've had over the last 3 days. And this area and this area are the areas I'm more concerned about than anything else. We did get some activity over the Cape last night, so that was added. into it. But again, as far as the forecast, it's looking like they're talking the Northeast RFC, okay, River Forecast Center with NOAA. They're actually forecasting maybe 1 to 3 inches of rainfall over the Cape and the islands. I would say maybe up to 4 inches in some spots, especially if they continue to get hit with heavier rain. They're actually getting rain now and into the morning hours and after sunrise. And then as things move northward, then we'll have to worry about Maine. Okay. And with all this rain that occurred over the last 3 days, uh, not only is rain going to be an issue, but the winds. The winds are going to batter. Mountainous areas are going to have upwelling. They're going to get stronger winds than most normal places that are near sea level. Okay. So the strength of the winds could lead to numerous power outages, branches, trees, anything with the soil being so saturated could easily bring trees down in less than 60-mile-an-hour winds. Okay, that's why we're so worried about this. This area and this area being most susceptible to power outages. Um, and with that, I'll just show a regional radar of what's going on currently. And as you can see, the Cape and the islands are actually starting to see the rainfall. Maine, not so much. They may be grazed with a little light bit of rainfall, but not too much to write home about at this point. Uh, they'll generally get their rainfall as this system moves further to the north and east. And again, with the flash flood potential that they have, that's not too bad. This is an old graphic. They kind of shrinked it a little bit, but I'd still say in the areas that I was talking about before, let me go back to it. These are the areas I'm more worried about as far as the potential for flash flooding. Okay. Like I talked about already, trees still have leaves on them. That's what's different about this than a nor'easter. When a nor'easter comes, usually the leaves are gone, or you have a certain event that normally doesn't happen and leads to significant power outages because of all this, snow that you usually get. But with this one, it's all rain. So power outages could last for days. So hopefully you plan ahead just in case you actually have that issue. Yes. So again, like I was talking about, we're already into the colder waters. So we're looking at Hurricane Lee to continue to, weaken, and the rainfall won't be as heavy as it would be if it had tropical moisture with it. So if, even though the event is starting to unfold over the Cape and Islands of eastern Massachusetts, you can actually get evacuated additionally if there's a gas leak in the region or something's going on, or they think significant flooding is going to occur. Those type of things normally. I would say the most likely would be a gas leak in this instant. So if anything, have documents ready, put them in Ziploc bags. What you can do is basically carry those around, and when it rains, they won't get wet, they won't get destroyed. Prescriptions, already have them packed, ready to go. And then hopefully you have low denomination cash, maybe a roll or two of quarters, in case you need to go to a vending machine. Quarters always work. But ATM machines, they're going to run out of money. It doesn't worry about if it's going to have power outages or not. They're going to run out of money with everybody taking out. And then if you need to, call your animal shelter. They'll be open. for most of it, or have somebody on call that could take messages or questions that you have. They can answer them for you and see what they can offer and what advice they can give you. What to do when you come back? Well, initially, if you are taken away from your house for some reason, either evacuated for gas leaks or already done so ahead of time, listen to the local news. Your emergency manager may have something on their webpage that tells you whether or not it's safe to go back. But again, that will not be updated till after the storm. So keep checking in. Definitely listen to your local NOAA weather radio or your news. Um, Again, officials are going to tell you when it's safe to come back. You could have a lot of trees down, gas leaks, power lines all over the place. They want to make things safe before you actually come back. So plan accordingly to stay, even though they say it's okay to come back. I would wait a little bit because everybody, as soon as they hear the news, is going to be on the road trying to get back in. And there's going to be a lot of traffic jams. You get that going out, you're going to get that going back. Check around your building as well for your own sake, your own house. You know what is damaged already. You know what if something new is damaged, you can report it. Also, carbon monoxide is a huge issue. So leave generators outside. I know people steal them. Usually people will put them under lock and key with a chain. But again, do not leave them inside your house because you will not live through the overnight hours due to the fact of that. Okay? I've seen it too many times. And with that, next update will be sometime tomorrow, depending on what I can find out as far as anything going on, any evacuations, that type of thing. You can always email me at chris@americasweathersc.com. I can always find out information for you if you can't find it yourself. By emailing me, if your phone doesn't work for some reason, I can always email you back. Okay? Thank you again for watching, and I will talk to you guys